Labor trafficking may be distinguished from other forms of labor exploitation by applying the action, means, purpose model, or the AMP model. This model helps determine whether force, fraud, or coercion was present, indicating that the encounter was not consensual. Labor and human trafficking occurs when a trafficker takes any one of the enumerated actions, which are to induce, recruit, harbor, transport, provide, or obtain, and then employs the means of force, fraud, coercion, for the purpose of compelling the victim to provide labor or services. At a minimum, one element from each column must be present to establish a potential situation of labor trafficking. The presence of force, fraud, or coercion indicates that the victim has not consented of his or her own free will. In this way, labor trafficking goes beyond workplace and labor violations, such as underpaying workers, overworking employees, or providing unsafe working conditions. In contrast, labor exploitation applies to instances in which employers deny workers their rights under labor law, such as the right to fair compensation, working hours, and conditions. Labor trafficking may include all of the elements of labor exploitation. For example, wage theft, poor working conditions, and other labor law violations, and child labor. But if the exploitation and child labor do not occur through the use of force, fraud, or coercion, they are not considered labor trafficking. Let's look at a hypothetical example to understand the differences between labor trafficking and labor violations. Anna is paid $500 a week to clean hotel rooms. According to her contract, she's assigned 12 rooms each night. On a good night, she can finish in 6 hours. But if she is assigned a particularly messy room or one of her coworkers needs help, it can take up to 9 hours. She always clocks out at 5:30, but she must keep working until she has finished all 12 rooms. The owner praises her as a hard worker, often using it as an excuse to hug her or stroke her hair in a way that makes her uncomfortable. She puts up with it because it took her months to find a job near her home that would allow her to be home with her children during the day. The situation does not sound fair, so that checks the box for labor exploitation. As for labor violations, there are clearly some sexual harassment issues, and there are likely minimum wage and overtime violations, since Anna is paid the same amount each week regardless of hours worked. But these facts do not appear to raise red flags for labor trafficking, because it seems she is voluntarily working free to leave at any time without risk of harm to herself or others. But perhaps circumstances change over the next 6 months. Anna breaks up with her long-term partner. The owner lets her move into one of the hotel's rooms with her children, but as soon as they are settled, he tells her the arrangement is illegal and says he will report her to the police if she tells anyone about it. He deducts rent payments from her check, often leaving her with a sum that barely covers the cost of living. She feels she is on the clock 24/7, with the manager often stopping by to give her extra work during her time off. Even if she did not fear the legal consequences of reporting her boss, she cannot save up for a security deposit and does not know where else she and her children could live. Because she is now feeling less able to leave the job, Anna's situation is starting to look more like trafficking. Labor exploitation and trafficking are both serious and damaging crimes, infringing on victims' basic human rights and rights under the law. By understanding the key differences between the two, law enforcement can better identify and investigate cases of labor trafficking and provide more appropriate and essential services to victims.